Ben, congratulations on a great career. Tell us how you arrived at the decision.
Yeah, thanks. It's been one that I've been thinking about for a while, particularly given how, unfortunately, my body had probably not allowed me to get to the level that I would really want to be able to get to regularly this season, even the last couple of seasons. So in that sense, it was a little bit tougher to make that call, but in some ways easier as well. Yeah, it was probably training a couple of weeks ago and I was running around and yeah, just felt like the right time. And obviously talked about it with my family and then had a meeting with Goody last week and yeah, I think it's the right call. I feel really good about it.
Do you think mentally you had a bit more footy left in you, but the body's just not going to go with you?
Yeah, that's definitely the way I'd explain it. I think the will is definitely there and I still think that my best footy is good enough. I just haven't been able to get to my best footy on a regular basis recently, particularly because of where my knee's been at. So yeah, it is tough from that perspective. I feel like the competitor in me just wants to keep going, but I know that my body's telling me something different. So I've got to respect that.
What's the hardest part of having to make such a big decision like this, and what are you going to miss the most, do you think, Ben?
I'm going to miss all of it. Footy has been my life in a lot of ways. From when I was very young, I always used to kick a footy out in the backyard, and you know that sport and footy has just been such a huge part of my life. And so I'll miss just the game and the ability to compete every week. I'm a competitor. I love doing that, and you know I'll also miss the people that have been around footy clubs, the staff, coaches, teammates, particularly the fans as well. I feel like I've been able to build a really strong connection with the fans at Melbourne Footy Club and North Melbourne as well before that, and I'll really miss those interactions as well.
When you kicked a few on the weekend in the VFL, was there any part of you that thought, oh, maybe I could kick?
Similar to the answer before, I suppose. I feel like my best footy is still good enough to do it, but I think even on the weekend running around, there's still part of me that wasn't at my best, and but it was really nice to have a game at the end where I could kick a nice bag and feel good about myself. So.
You had such a successful time at North Melbourne, but the move to the Demons, you end up getting a flag. How do you reflect on the decision to change clubs and where it's ultimately landed?
I see it as really incredibly fortunate that Melbourne gave me that second opportunity. You know, to be able to play in a premiership is something that I will forever remember and that no one can ever take away from me, and I love that I've had that experience. I also love my time at North Melbourne. I think North gave me my opportunity to begin with. I'd missed out on 3 drafts. It was the 4th draft when I was selected, and North Melbourne really welcomed me in and made me feel like built me up to feel like I was an AFL player. So I've got so much to be thankful for at the North Melbourne Football Club as well, and I really feel like I'm a part of both families, which is really lovely.
Can you take us inside the move and the pitch that Melbourne gave you to come in?
Yeah, Melbourne's pitch was, that they wanted to be a premiership side and they thought that I could be a part of that. And I'm so grateful that that ended up panning out the way it did in 2021. They were really bold in the way that they went about their footy, and that really excited me when I was looking to make the move. I sort of knew at that point that North Melbourne were moving in a different direction, and I'd come to terms with that. So at that point it was about moving on, and Melbourne provided me that opportunity, and I feel like it was exactly the right time for me to come into the club and to be able to have an impact. And I think in 2021, particularly at the back end of the year, I'm really proud that I was able to make an impact and I was able to help the club win that flag. So that for me is a real source of pride, particularly from where I'd come from at the start of that year, I think. And I played a couple of games in the middle of the year, was dropped back to the 2s for about 2 months, and really had to, after the 2020 year that I had, really had to fight some personal demons, I think, and really recapture the self-belief and recapture my best footy. And that for me is one of the things I'm proudest of in my career. At that time, when I really needed to put in the work on myself, I was able to do that. I was able to put my head down and work hard, and I was able to come in an impact for the team at the back end of that year, and so that's something that I'm incredibly proud of.
What's one of those lasting memories that you have of the siren going off the stadium and knowing you're a premiership player?
It's just pure joy. I don't remember much from it, to be honest. It was all a blur. But yeah, I definitely remember the last sort of 10 or 15 minutes of the game because of the way the game played out. We sort of knew that we were going to win, and there was something nice about that experience and being able to really bask in it. And I remember pre-game as well. I sort of took a moment pre-game in amongst all of the setup that was going on for the pre-game entertainment while we were doing our warm-ups, and really just soaked in the atmosphere and soaked in the occasion. And I'm really happy that I did that because it's definitely something that I'll remember forever, is that experience. And having my parents over there and my brothers, they were living in Tassie, so they were able to get over despite the COVID closures. Unfortunately, my wife and kids were at home, and that's something that I probably regret about that experience, is that they weren't able to share that with me, and it was a really tough time for Hess in particular. But the way that she supported me over my career is something I'll be forever grateful for as well.
Do you think the Foxtail Cup was important for you back when you missed a couple of drafts?
Yeah, it sure was. The Foxtail Cup was. I love playing that comp, and I was really fortunate at Werribee that I was able to get that opportunity, and I'll take the opportunity too to say thank you to the Werribee Footy Club for giving me that opportunity to show myself, I suppose, in a different way. It was the first time at that footy club that I ever played as a forward, and I think we had about 6 key forwards playing in that team at that time. We had Ben Warren and Ben McKinley, and Mason Wood was there at that time, Madjack and Daniel Curry. So we had, for Scotty West to be able to fit me into that team was pretty unbelievable. But yeah, the Foxtail Cup was definitely cool, and it was my first opportunity to play on Etihad Stadium, I think it was at the time, now Marvel Stadium. It was a pretty cool experience. I definitely remember that one.
So you've got a degree in journalism, don't you, Ben? So is that a potential career that you're looking to go down now post-footy?
I do have a degree in journalism. I'm not sure whether I'm cut out for it or not, but I'm pretty excited for the next chapter, whatever that holds for me. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm sure that will become clear, and I'm looking forward to just having a little bit of time, taking some time with my family, and really soaking in what this has been. When the next thing comes up, I think I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be ready for it.
So I wanted to ask you about the meeting that you guys had yesterday with Christian. Do you think it was important for him and important for the group for him to be able to talk about what he'd been through?
I think from my perspective, it's really important that we just look after Christian right now. He's been through a pretty traumatic experience, and I think for all of us, what we need to do as a club is to throw our arms around him. I think whatever Christian feels he needs at the moment is the most important thing, and football is taking a second or third seat. It's as far in the back seat as you could put it. Whenever Christian wants to reveal more about what's happened to him, that's what's important to us, is that he's feeling in a really good place from a physical and mental point of view. And from my perspective as well, he's just an incredible human, a lovely person, and I only want the best for him, and I know that's the same can be said for the whole playing group.
Well done, Ben. Good stuff.
Great. Thanks, Drew.
Want to see more from the Ds? And don't forget to subscribe up here.